Waxo here. It's been a long time since I've uploaded anything here, and I apologize for that. Life got a little crazy. But now I want to announce a new project that I'm working on, the Waxo Report. This is a weekly guarantee of new content every Saturday, as well as a channel update on what you can expect from me in the future from here on out. So, without further ado, let's hop into the very first Waxo Report. As for what I've been playing lately, I've decided to go back and give Fallout 4 another try. Modded, of course. The changes to perks and leveling, the removal of the karma system, the bad writing, all of it just sort of put me off the game, and after about a month I stopped playing altogether. Over the next few years, I would start and stop new characters, in which I would play for a couple weeks and then just give up on after I realized how much I didn't like it. But this time around, I think I'm going to push myself through to the end, especially since these mods that I have installed allow for a more hardcore gunplay experience that I've found to really enjoy. But enough about Fallout, let's hop into the news for the week. What has to be the biggest story to break this week is the announcement of the Rebirth of LucasArts, the company behind previous adaptations to the intellectual properties of George Lucas, such as the original Star Wars Battlefronts, as LucasFilm Games. This is huge news for those who are fans of the mega franchise, as it now opens the door for other developers to toss their hat in and create diverse experiences from the Star Wars canon. Though it also seems like EA does plan on making more games in the future, Lucasfilm Games opening the floodgates to other developers is really going to force them to have to innovate and bring their A game when it comes to their established franchises. Want to make a Battlefront 3? There's gonna have to be zero hints of that pay-to-win bullshittery that almost ruined Battlefront 2. Fallen Order 2? Give Respawn the same power they had with the first, and expand deeper into Cal's journey. Another major announcement made by Lucasfilm Games is the reveal of an Indiana Jones title coming from Bethesda and Machine Games, the developers behind the rebooted Wolfenstein series. I'm personally not the biggest fan of Indiana Jones, only because I've only watched Raiders of the Lost Ark and Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, and none of the others yet. But this is still exciting news, since with the popularity of Tomb Raider and Uncharted over the years, it's good to see a new game based on the very thing that inspired both of them. Now, the big discussion that circles the announcement of Indiana Jones by Bethesda is, will this be a Microsoft exclusive since they acquired Bethesda and Machine Games in what was the biggest gaming acquisition ever? Though there is no solid evidence to argue with whether or not it will be an exclusive, my own opinion on the matter has me leaning that it very well could be. Though I have no doubt that this project was in development long before the deal was struck, I could see this being handled how the Marvel properties seem to be operating. Though Marvel games have been lending out their property for the past decade to Lego Games, various mobile creations, Capcom's Marvel vs. Capcom, and Square Enix's Avengers, in 2018 and again in 2020, they partnered with Insomniac and Sony, which they own part of the character, to bring Spider-Man and Spider-Man Miles Morales exclusively to PlayStation 4 and 5, even going as far to have Spidey DLC be exclusive to Sony consoles and Square Enix's Avengers. I could very easily see with this Indiana Jones game be a Microsoft exclusive, if they manage to work out a deal with Lucasfilm Games to get the IP rights for Indiana Jones from Bethesda and Machine Games. Again, this is just my opinion based on what I've personally observed over the years, so truly anything can happen. With the start of each new year comes the announcement of delays of games that have been revealed just a tad bit too early. This year's no different, and we've already seen the delay of 3 releases, the first and furthest being Hogwarts Legacy from WB Interactive and Avalanche. The upcoming title that was teased during the Sony PS5 event in September and showcased an adventure game set in the wizarding world of Harry Potter about a century before the events of the books and movies. Aside from the trailer and minor gameplay details such as the inclusion of potion creating and a morality system, not much else was known about the title. The delay will see the game coming out in 2022 instead of later this year. Next is Outriders, the upcoming cover-based looter shooter from Square Enix and People Can Fly, the latter being the developers behind Bulletstorm and Gears of War Judgment. Though it seems like People Can Fly are trying to diversify themselves from recent looter shooters, focusing less on MMO-esque approach like Destiny and more on creating a story-driven co-op experience, it's giving me those sort of vibes anyway whenever I see gameplay. Maybe more like The Division rather than Destiny, but still, just a little off for me. It does have a demo coming out in February, so maybe I'll get some friends together and give it a try. Originally announced back in 2019 and delayed out of 2020 due to COVID, it is now set to release on April 1st. Lastly, but respectively, is Riders Republic, a massively multiplayer sports game coming from Ubisoft Anarchy, the developers behind the open-world sports game Steep. It looks pretty interesting, like a fun cartoony version of Steep. Originally slated for February 25th, Riders Republic release is now up in the air as it has an undesignated release for some time later this year. As we all know, the start of the year is oftentimes the doldrums of gaming, with anything profoundly interesting rarely ever dropping around this time. This year isn't quite as different, but we do have some honorable mentions. This week saw the 7th gen and via backwards compatibility 8th gen re-release of Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, the cult classic game based on the comics of the same name, with physical versions of the game now available for pre-order and set to release February 25th. And as for the upcoming week, we have the release of Hitman 3, which serves as the conclusion to IO Interactive's rebooted Hitman franchise. I'm actually looking forward to this as I am a huge fan of the recent trilogy, as they were remarkable, globe-trotting stealth games that offered an incredible mix of old and new gameplay that's very satisfying to someone who's been a fan of it pre-Absolution. It's with that I conclude the first episode of the Waxo Report. Again, this is a brand new series that you can expect every Saturday afternoon detailing major events that happened in the previous week of gaming news. As for upcoming projects, all I can say is that I have been working on a Cyberpunk review that has taken me a while because I burned myself out working on it. Too many long nights of recording, having to record gameplay that I thought I had, and just being a lengthier project that I'm not used to working on. Expect that to come out in the near future though, as well as updates on other possible projects. For more info on those, be sure to follow my Twitter at WaxoPlays, which I'll include down in the description and comments below. If you do in fact like the content, please leave a like and subscribe for more. Again, thanks for watching, see you on the next Waxo Report, and please, all of you, be safe and take it easy.